Neesmith inbounds to Halliburton. Oh boy, here we go. 6-5 Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal. Oh, he got it!
Oh my goodness. Coming up on NBA Today, one of, if not the greatest comeback in NBA playoffs history, and what a stage for it. What did we learn in this instant classic? Plus, who gets the biggest slice of blame pie for the Knicks here? Hear from Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart on how New York moves on after Heartbreak City. And we are live from the site of tonight's Game 2. Does the freshly crowned MVP SGA have something special in store for OKC? We check in with the man himself. NBA Today starts right now, where we are live from Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, counting down the hours until Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Malika Andrews here alongside Andrea Carter. Brian Windhorst. Chiney Ogwumike is back with us here in Oklahoma City.
Back, sis.
We are glad to have you. I got to ask you, though, Chiney, have you recovered?
I have not.
I have not recovered from last night's game. We need to take you there right now, relive the madness that was Madison Square Garden. Because here's the deal. Entering Wednesday, teams were 0 in 1,414 when they trailed by 9 or more in the final fourth quarter or minute or overtime of a playoff game, but then Aaron Nesmith happens.
You can't say enough about Aaron Nesmith. What's impressive, yes, he knocked down so many threes in the fourth quarter, but that's after chasing Jalen Brunson everywhere for the entirety of the game. He had the hot hand, and the Pacers continue to find him, and he delivered over and over.
Nesmith, he made 6 three-pointers in the fourth quarter, tied for the most in any quarter in NBA postseason history. Having 20 points in 5 minutes is unheard of.
Feel you.
And Knicks fans, they're starting to get a rumbly in their tumbly, because Tyrese Halliburton, when he starts to back out like this, we have seen this before. The friendly bounce, and it goes down. It felt like it hung in the air forever. And then, of course, a nod to the iconic Reggie Miller 1994 celebration for Tyrese Halliburton, recreating that in the same series. But, of course, it was a two-pointer, not a three-pointer. And Tyrese was worried maybe he wasted the celebration.
Did I get the three? I didn't get the three. You didn't get the three. How'd I not get back?
If I would have known it was a 2, I would not have done it. So I think I might have wasted it. If I do it again, then I might be, people might say I'm like oral farming. So I'm not, I don't plan on using it again.
Aura farming, now a part of everybody's vocabulary. With that, though, we head to overtime here, Chiney.
Typically, when you throw the first punch in overtime like the Knicks did, you have the advantage. But instead, they have a plethora of players, the Pacers, that can be used as decoys, whether it's Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton, that freed up someone who was a slam dunk contest winner in a Knicks uniform, but now on the victor side, and Obi Toppin.
Jalen Brunson, though, Brian, if you told me that he had 43 and the New York Knicks still lost a blind box score, I don't know that I would have believed you.
This blind box score is crazy. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, can't be caught sleeping. I thought this was a city that never sleeps.
And yet, they were caught right there on the Indiana Pacers. Nice play there for Indiana.
Here's another one.
Final moments here. Final seconds, rather, of overtime. Watch Pascal Siakam.
Used as decoys, Malika.
Yep.
Setting up another tough dunk by Toppin.
Toppin throws it down, and New York is all too familiar with that young man's game here. He's getting fired up. The Indiana Pacers can feel it here. Jalen Brunson falls short.
Another opportunity.
Oh, this was online.
And just a little bit too short there. There's a scramble for the rebound. New York tries to come up with it, but no. It would be Indiana ball here. 0.2 on the clock, and at this point, Tyrese, he just hands the ball to Karl-Anthony Towns. Game over. Reggie Miller knows greatness when he sees it. Here's Tyrese Halliburton on how the Pacers team just keeps getting this done.
I think our front office did a great job of keeping this group together, and I think that this just gives us all confidence in each other. Like, we feel like we know where everybody's going to be. We expect, we have high expectations for each other, but I think we also have, we hold each other accountable at the same time. I think that's important. And I've seen people joke about us and call us, we're like a college team a little bit because of how close we are and, you know, how we've been together, and we're all super young and whatever the case may be. But, man, it's just it's special. And just, you know, I love playing with these guys and, you know, look forward to, you know, keep this run going.
I don't know about you, Chiney, but this feels like a where were you when game. You're going to remember exactly the moment for a very long time, and you had a unique experience listening to all of Oklahoma City react.
Oh, yeah. I was in my bed in the hotel recovering, right? And then what happened was I was watching this, and I screamed at the top of my lungs, and so did everyone on my floor. The entire floor reverberated, and I definitely think it's a where were you when the shot went down. But honestly, if you think about the shot, it's wild. It was the bounce. You could probably hear a pin drop in New York City. It took forever for that shot to come down. But when Haliburton released, I was like, that's actually a favorable bounce. And it gives us shades of Kawhi Leonard, obviously, you know, in the East, trying to pursue a championship in 2019. It gives us shades of Kevin Durant, big toe on the line with consequences. And I know the celebration, he was a little probably self-conscious, knowing that he had to win it and close it out in overtime. But this is a team that reminds me of the saying, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. This is a prepared team. They had the right opportunity. And guess what? A lot of people are saying they might be the luckiest team in the NBA, but rightfully so, they worked for that luck.
Better to be lucky than be good.
When I think about Tyrese Haliburton, he's just so unbothered, right? I mean, we've already shown clips this season of people talking about him having a low ceiling when he came into the draft. He was unbothered by that. Unbothered by people making fun of him for the Olympic team. Unbothered by someone or guys voting him most overrated. He's unbothered. He continues to be himself. And then in this game, they're down by, 14 points with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. What is Tyrese Haliburton? Unbothered. On the drive, Mikal Bridges tips the ball, and Tyrese Haliburton stays with the play, backs out, shoots it. He thought it was a 3. It was a 2. He's unbothered by that, and he goes to help his team get the win in overtime. It's his way that he continues to just be himself and not worry about any of the outside noise. Not just in this game, but that's how he always is.
Success is the best revenge.
Exactly.
And it's best served cold and in Madison Square Garden. There are many, many versions of this phrase, but I think the one that applies to the Indiana Pacers the most is 1 is a fluke, 2 is a trend, 3 is the truth. And this Indiana Pacers team has been the truth. Wendy, are they the best comeback team we've ever seen?
I've never seen anything like it. Typically, when you get to 3 possessions inside a minute, you can go to the parking lot. Not
and
with
some
this
did.
team.
We're sorry if you did, Knicks fans.
Do not leave. Let's go back to the first round against Milwaukee. In that situation, 7 points, less than a minute. The game's over, right? Nope. Somehow they get themselves to a position where they're able, there was a friendly turnover. There's always a turnover. There's always a missed free throw. Haliburton with the drive that makes the difference. Second round in Cleveland. Buries this dagger. They were 7 points down. Again, inside 50 seconds, 7 points down.
Nope.
That broke the Cavs. That victory.
In here.
And so when they're in Madison Square Garden, they've already done 7 points. How about 9 points? 9 points inside a minute, and they, by the way, the Knicks made a couple of plays here. They made a couple of baskets. It wasn't like they got nothing, but the Pacers stay with it again. There's a missed free throw. There's a couple of turnovers that happened, and 1 in 10 million, says ESPN Analytics. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with this number. I think it's close to 1 in 100 million. For those 3 things to happen, I don't think we'll ever see it again. What's 4? 3 is a trend, 4 is a standard. The Knicks better hope that this doesn't become a standard.
Wendy with a ball. Hold on, that was.
Oh yeah.
That was. But this is
Brian. This is Brian in the playoffs. This is Brian in the playoffs.
This is also who the Pacers are, because they always play fast. So when you're trying to make a comeback and you have to play fast, what feels like chaos to other teams, that's the Pacers' comfort zone. They're not stepping outside of themselves to try to get back into the game.
Right.
That's exactly when they're thriving offensively, is playing that fast. It works perfectly. They are the perfect team for these type of situations.
And you know what's crazy? We started off the playoffs celebrating Jalen Brunson as the clutch player of the year. I feel like Adam Silver needs to give out another award for clutch team of the year based off of what the Pacers have done.
And the New York Knicks, when we put up all of these improbable stats, they are the team on the other side of it. Let's take a listen to them together after the game.
They made some tough shots, but it shouldn't have got to that point, and we have to obviously close out the game better. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be thinking about it, but I think our mindset has to be short-term memory, just from like the disappointment part. Obviously, we got to learn from what we did, but the short-term memory comes from the disappointment and discouragement of how we lost last night. So we just got to be ready to go.
So that was earlier today. One thing you can always count on after a big game in New York, the local papers. They will not hold back. Here's the back page of the New York Post. Choke 2.0, the epic collapse, crushes Knicks in frighteningly familiar fashion, but also familiar. The New York Knicks won that series. They did win that series against the Indiana Pacers. So is there anything to come back from an absolutely crushing loss like this the New York Knicks can take here, Brian?
Yeah, I want to look at what happened with Brunson. Brunson got 5 fouls in the fourth quarter. He had to leave the game. The Knicks did a great job when Brunson went to the bench. He went on a 14-0 run. I thought they had clinched the game. We asked for our check. We were ready to go. So 2 things there. 1, I think they can build on that for when Brunson doesn't play. Secondly, because of the fouls, Brunson's minutes didn't go haywire. So Brunson actually played less than 40 minutes. So while this was taxing on the team, their best player will have a little bit of extra rest going into tomorrow night.
Yeah, and this is also the team, the Pacers, the best offensive team remaining in the postseason. They have to find a way to disrupt their flow.
Yeah.
They are cool, calm, and collected, and that goes by Tyrese Halliburton. You might have to pick your poison because when Halliburton scores 20, they are undefeated, the Pacers, this postseason. So maybe you try to keep his numbers down, have him focus on others, and maybe, you know, sort of bet on the idea that you can't have both go off. His supporting cast knocked down 6 in fourth quarter, big buckets, big threes in overtime. And then on top of it, him to be clutch himself, I think you have to sort of pick your poison and say, can we keep everyone else down and let him go off, or keep him down and let everyone else go off?
The Knicks also have to think about what they took advantage of when they faced Boston. The Knicks beat Boston in games 1 and game 2. And what did they take advantage of when it came to Boston? Poor shot selection, stagnant offense, half-hearted defense. The Knicks can't repeat those things because that's what we saw late in the game. What we saw in the Boston series that helped the Knicks ended up hurting the Knicks because they repeated some of those same actions and the Pacers took advantage.
But New York was on the other side of those comebacks, right? Coming back from down 20 points. The trend over the course of this postseason, the team that has snatched the souls, I think of Aaron Gordon in the last-minute putback that he was able to beat the Clippers, and they went on to beat the Clippers in that series. Going back to the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Pacers, being on the other side of that sort of crushing loss, I imagine is much harder to turn around from.
And I especially think in the last round, the 2 underdogs, I guess you'd call them underdogs, but the 2 teams without home court advantage, the Knicks and Pacers, getting game 2. That's where the series really got into big trouble for the favorites, getting game 2. So the Knicks, as obvious as it is by me to say, you got to get game 2. You get game 2, you can build off of that.
You don't want to be going back to Indiana down 0-2 if you are the New York Knicks.